Welcome to The Herbal Ire, your podcast on all things holistic health, medical astrology, spirituality, herbalism, and so much more. Presented by your host, Ire Atla, medical astrologist, herbalist, and naturopath. Let's dive right into today's topic, love and light. Hi everyone, welcome back to The Herbal Ire. I'm your host, Ire Atla, and today I am here with Madison. Madison is a magically multi-passionate entrepreneur, Reiki practitioner, and a self-love extraordinaire. Dubbed the perspective-shifting queen, she specializes in short, powerful Reiki energy healing sessions. There we go. Her purpose in this life is to assist others on their healing and spiritual awakening journeys through personal experience, empowering clothing, and transformative Reiki. Welcome, Madison.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited that you're here too. Madison and I have known each other for several years now?
Since 2020, I think.
Yeah, so it's been 3 now. It's 2023. So, yeah, we met in a group initially for female entrepreneurs, and then we both joined the same program that was hosted by like the owner of that group, and we did that for a couple of years together. And yeah, so we've known each other for a while, and Madison's awesome, so I think y'all are gonna love her. So Madison actually started initially with clothing and now it's kind of moved into another space. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So my initial venture into entrepreneurship was clothing that empowered women and promoted mental health. And I loved doing that. But as a baby entrepreneur, I knew nothing about outsourcing. And so I burned myself out. And so
yes, been there.
Yeah. I think as I talk to more people, I'm like, oh yeah, this is super common. But I took a break from that and realized that as a healer, and especially as someone who experienced Reiki, that was really where I wanted to put my focus. And so I have pivoted into Reiki energy healing services, and I still do offer some limited clothing, but my main focus now is on services.
Awesome. Madison's clothing line was super awesome, and she did all of the pieces herself, y'all. So this is why you can see why she got burned out. She made them all by hand when they were ordered. And so, yeah, but I really think since you've moved into this whole other space that you've really come into your own, like this just really feels more like you than I think the clothing did, at least in my perspective. What do you think?
I totally agree. And something that I realized was happening with the clothing was I kind of got so wrapped up in just the physical clothes that I felt like I always had to be wearing them, that I felt like it was, it was almost like it consumed me. And with Reiki, it's like Reiki provided an inside out transformation for me. And now that I am offering that to others, there's just endless possibilities. It's exactly the feeling, the knowing of who I am and what I want to embody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I see just from knowing you and being in a lot of the same groups and us talking frequently, I see that you seem much more like calm and peaceful and just set here than you did before. You always, I heard, other groups, you'd be asking so many questions about things. And now I find that you don't seem to be looking for others to validate what you're doing. You literally just know, and it's so cool watching that transformation with you.
Yes, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you there is an inner peace that I have found, an inner, just a knowing, like I was saying earlier, that I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally understand that because I initially, when I started my business, I kind of did something similar to you in the fact that I started one thing and then slowly transitioned into something else, which to everyone else, I think looked like I was just like making a horrible decision because they didn't see like the slow process that went on behind the scenes. But like initially I started a business and it was called Faded Leaves, and I made jewelry from like by hand. I did all the wire wrapping with
Oh,
sterling silver and all
wow.
of this stuff with pendants. And I went to all these gym shows and sourced my own crystals and all of that stuff. And I kind of infused them with like energy and I would sell those. Well, in the like crafting handmade world, handcrafted jewelry is a really hard market to like break into because there's so many sellers, right? And
Absolutely.
I just found that it was so difficult, and I would spend hours upon hours upon hours making a pendant that I would price appropriately for the types of materials that I use and the fact that everything was real. And I'd be having people message me, well, can I get this for $30? No, it's a $200 pendant on purpose.
Right.
They're like, well,
Yep.
I can get one from so and so for $20. Okay, then go get their pendant. I'm pretty sure it'll turn your skin green, but whatever. And it
Yep.
got really frustrating, and I just didn't really feel like I was doing what I should be doing. And so at that point, I had also been taking my first degree for clinical herbalism. So I then kept the name, but transitioned into just doing like herbal products only. And I did
Yeah.
that for a few years, and that actually went really well. And I was replacing the majority of like my income so I could stop being a nurse. And I just decided I didn't like it like I thought I should. I still didn't feel like I was
Mhm.
helping people like I wanted to. So I just completely dissolved the business and just quit and stopped doing anything for like a few years. And then got back into it when I just was like, I really miss this. And that's when I kind of switched and went into like consultations and like more of like the service type stuff and
Yeah.
less of the product side. I still make my own products mainly for my family and then for whatever clients need stuff, but that's not my main focus anymore. And I like it a lot better. So I know. And then on top of that, while I was doing that, I found like medical astrology and started adding that in. And so that just really sealed the deal. And I finally felt like really at peace that I found this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yes, I love that. And it's such like a pivot can be so it's so good because you still have, you still have your the physical, the product part that you work on with your clients. And it's the same for myself as well with clothing. I offer like one of a kind things right now, but it's not my
Hmm.
main business. And so that feels a lot better to me and I still get to do something that I love, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to really get over the initial something I struggled with before I pivoted was almost feeling like I failed in clothing because the passion wasn't there anymore. And that
Hmm.
was something I really had to come to terms with is like as an entrepreneur, we have to roll with the punches. We have to roll with our energy and we have to roll with what feels good because if it doesn't, you're going to dread waking up and working on your business. It's
Yeah.
not fun.
And if I wanted to wake up and dread going to work every day, I'd go back to a regular job.
Exactly. Like why did we get into this in the first place? Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. And on top of that, too, like, I think we really need to start redefining like failure. It's not a failure to try something, even if you do it for 6 years or however long, and then realize, like, hey, this just isn't for me. It's not a failure. You have tried something,
Absolutely.
you've discovered that this really doesn't align with you and what you want, and then you've pivoted into something that does, or now you're trying something new and figuring it out. It's not a failure to try something and then figure out it's not for me, you know,
Yep.
which is yeah, I hate that culture in America where it's like, oh, you failed, you've had three failed businesses. No, I've had three successful businesses that have now pivoted me into where I'm supposed to be. Like it was
Yes.
part of my path.
And most of the entrepreneurs that you talk to, it's season based. Wherever you're at in your life is kind of what they're focusing on. I
Hmm.
rarely come across people that have only done the same thing their entire entrepreneurial journey. I just don't think that's a thing. I think we have to, and it was a tough lesson to learn at first, but now
Hmm.
it's like I enjoy the pivot. I look forward to the pivot. What can I change? How can I make this more enjoyable?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And now you've literally made a business that you're not only passionate about, which totally shows up in how you do things, right? But it's
Yeah.
also something that, like you said, you wake up and don't dread going to do,
Yeah.
which makes it even better. If I just don't want to dread anything anymore. I want to find something I'm passionate about and do that, and, be happy with where my life is going. And when you're an entrepreneur, you get to
Absolutely.
do that,
Yes. And one of my favorite parts about Reiki is that it's a pretty fast change, a pretty quick impact that I
Hmm.
get to see in people, and it helps. It helps so many people. It doesn't take a lot of time, and there's things that people don't even realize need to be released that I can help, energetically align them to that. And so
Hmm.
it has just been it's been an incredible journey thus far, and I'm really excited to continue on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part too that I like with Reiki, is that it's just so like quick to help fix like a stuckness in the body. Um,
Yes.
Full disclosure, she and I did a session. She was like wanting to have some extra practice and just, feel like, okay, I've got this, before really seeing clients, which I totally get because I did that for a while. All my friends, I was like, come do a session with me so that we could figure it out. And so we did a session together. And yeah, let me tell you, it was awesome. She's totally amazing at what she does. So highly recommend checking her out. But it really cleared like a block. I can't even tell you really what the block was. I just knew I was having like a block, and we did a session, and she literally could feel like things like blowing up inside of my body energetically and moving out of the way and clearing things, because it was just like and I'm telling you, since whatever magic and woo woo you want to call it that she did, things have changed in my life for the better, and we're doing great. So thank you. But yeah, like it was
Yes.
amazing, and it was so quick. We did what, like a 20-minute session or something?
Yes. So
Yeah,
my
it wasn't even
specialties
super
are
long.
quick sessions.
Yeah. So
Um,
if you're interested, y'all, you don't even have to spend like a whole day or even hours. It's literally like 20, 30 minutes and you are good.
yes. Yes. Powerful, like perspective shifting and self-love Reiki sessions are my two specialties. And Reiki is spiritually guided life force energy. It's going to do exactly what you need it to do, and it will move exactly what you need it to move.
Hmm. This is true, even if you don't know what it is that you need it to move. Because
Yep.
like when we started off, she's like, is there anything that you want to bring up that, I should be looking for? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. I'm just like feeling like I need this. And I couldn't
Yes.
even tell her what it was or why I needed it. I just knew that I did. And yeah, what I still couldn't tell you what it was that actually released, because again, I never was very clear on what it was we were really, looking for to fix, because I just hadn't figured that out. But yeah, it's worked and it's doing great, and I'm appreciative and I love it. So y'all need to check her out too.
Reiki magic, baby.
Yes, always. So Madison is also kind of a nomad like us. She's not full-time nomad yet, but she's probably working her way up there.
I
she's
sure
a
am.
she's a part-time nomad, so she spends winters mainly in like the south or warmer areas,
Yes.
and summers up in Michigan, right?
Yep,
Yep.
Michigan.
So yeah, I fully see her in the future having her own van and doing Reiki sessions in like the middle of like the desert or Coachella or something. It'll be great.
What a dream, man. Ah,
Right?
I'm ready. You hear that, universe? I just need a
This is what
van.
we're manifesting. We'll help you find a van. We know what to look for.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, but seriously, I can totally see you doing that. Like you just have the vibe about you that you would thrive in that type of environment.
It's part of my human design too.
Yeah.
Moving, like my environment is like shores and being in between like a city and the country, being by
Mm.
water and land, like being in areas where I can mountains and I forgot the other word, but being around those areas, but then also moving every couple months. I am not meant to stay in the same area for long. Like my energy does not like it. So
Yeah.
yes, leaning into that, and the more I learn about it is like, okay, I am doing, I'm taking baby steps right now. I do winters in the
Mhm.
south, and It's just going to evolve into this traveling. I plan to have like little homes set up like with different friend groups all over the country and just go hang out with my tribe. So
Mhm.
that's the
In the,
dream.
like, van life world, they call it mooch docking when you, like, go and stay in your friends' driveways
Yes, there we go.
because 'cause you're mooching off of their, services, their electric and their water. It's great. But yeah, I can totally see that, yes, you are definitely living up to your design. My husband's design has that as his, like, area too, is shores, and when
Yes.
we stay in one place for too long, he starts getting antsy to leave. He's like, "I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah.
We've been here 2 months already, where can we go next?" And I totally see that in, his design, that he is very much that way. I'm very much the same way. I don't have that. Mine is mountains, I think,
Okay.
but I'm there's, like, fixed and non-fixed or something like that. I forget what they call it in human design. And mine's, like, the non-fixed one, where I like mountains, but I don't wanna see the same, like, view all the time, right? So
Okay, yeah, that makes
yeah, so
sense.
I do like to move, but I'm okay with staying, like, a little bit longer sometimes, you know?
Sure.
So that's totally, yeah, that's totally fair, as, like, this is our design. If you're on, like, the astrology side of it, I have a stellium in Sagittarius, and so does he. He has 4 planets, I believe, and I have 3.
Oh,
And
wow.
so because of that, and they're both in, I think, the 5th house or the 6th house on our charts. It's one of those. I forget which one, but they're in, like, the exact same areas on both of our charts, and it's so funny that, and I was like, "Well, that's why we like traveling so much." Like, Sagittarius is the adventurer and the traveler and the wanderer of the
Is
zodiac, right?
it? I didn't
And
know
we have
that.
so much Sagittarian energy in our chart.
So it just makes sense.
Mhm.
It's
It
literally in your makeup.
Yep. We're literally, our cosmic blueprint is to not stay in one place for too long.
You
And
are meant
so,
to be.
yep. Yeah. And this is the thing that I love about, like, human design and astrology. Like, we would otherwise probably be shaming ourselves for this, or upset, or taking people's underhanded comments about what we do to heart, because we
Yeah,
would feel some level of, like, we really probably shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it is. And
absolutely.
instead, I've looked at that and I was like, "Pfft, you can sit there and tell me I shouldn't do it all you want. I got a stellium in Sagittarius, baby. I am meant to travel."
You're like, the
Cosmically
planet's already
designed.
decided I need to be doing this. So
Yeah,
sorry
sorry,
what you
your
think.
opinion your opinion doesn't matter anymore. Peace out. But, it really does help, and like you said, like, that's, like, what you're meant to do, and so because of that, it takes
Yeah.
away any shame, any doubt in your mind of whether or not you're doing the right thing, and literally helps you manifest that, because you will take steps then to get there, instead of wallowing or thinking, "Oh, is this the right thing? Should I do it?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
now, and it
And,
helps.
I honestly, last year was my first year going down south for the winter, and I felt so it was like a rough year. I felt really guilty. I felt very like I shouldn't be doing this. And it was kind of a rough experience. Anyway, I was very unprepared. But this year, when I went down, I realized as I've started traveling more, like my sister and her husband just bought an RV that they're converting and they're about to travel across the US, and so my family likes to travel. And this year when I went south, my grandma, it was brought to my attention, she passed in January, and she would take a road trip from Las Vegas to Michigan and hit all of our family in between for 3 months every single year. And it
Mhm.
never occurred to me how much her traveling and her love of travel, because she had done that and we had road tripped with her when we were younger. And so I don't know her astrology or anything, but having that instilled in me and recognizing like, wow, this is like it's kind of a way I get to honor her now because that was her thing. Road tripping was her thing.
Mhm.
And I left for my road trip this year for my first solo road trip like a week after she passed this year. And so that was like now every time I travel, it's like, oh, I'm kind of like honoring her,
Yeah.
in my lifestyle as well. So that's something that felt really good. I had an amazing year down south this year. It was such like a 180 from last year. And so just more confirmation that this is this is the path I'm supposed to be
Yeah,
on.
this is what you're supposed to be doing. And just like it was with the Reiki, because like you discover
Mhm.
that and you started doing it, and it's just like literally you keep getting all this confirmation that this is what you're supposed to be doing. It's
Yep.
great. That just goes to show that when you start living by like your cosmic design, you start living what makes you happy, that the universe rewards those leaps of faith where you're still maybe unsure, but you're doing it anyway, right? You're doing the thing a little bit unsure, not necessarily scared, but just unsure if it's 100% the direction you should go. But you take that leap anyway,
Absolutely.
and you'll find if it's the right direction, doors start opening, windows start opening, whatever, and everything just starts aligning, right?
Yes. So easily. Like
Yes.
you really can take baby steps and then all of a sudden it's just like, here you go. Like,
Mm-hmm.
here's a buffet
Yeah.
of options.
Yeah. Yes. And that's like literally what I've seen happen this year with you. And then it's also what's happened this year with us too. Like we literally took a leap into the dark because we knew we didn't have like the funds to be on the road for longer than like a month. And I was like, well, that's okay. We need to do this. We've been stationary for too long and we're not handling it well. We're physically getting
Yeah.
ill now because of it, right? Because we're just in one place for too long. So we're going to take this leap and we're going to go. And so we decided to do that and we drove off into the sunset literally and we're like, okay, here we go, universe is what we're doing. And so many fucking doors opened, so many like things aligned that like should have happened. Seriously. Like it's not a coincidence because I don't believe in those, but if you did, it would be totally coincidental, that all this stuff happened. But it just literally all aligned for us to hit the road again, like mainly full time and just be gone. And I think if we had not just said, fuck it, we're just going to go anyways, even though we maybe don't have all the funds we need to do this, I don't think any of this would have happened.
Absolutely. And even like I wanted to recognize you too and your energy shift that you've had because I remember when you guys left. I remember when you started traveling this year and kind of like everything you were going through at the time and you were like we just need to go. Like we need to get out of here. You knew that that was the, something needed to change. And
Mm-hmm.
seeing, I mean, I feel like everything that has happened this year, you're almost to your podcast goal, aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I see, we talked about these things in January and our goals for the year. And then like a month later, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I almost hit my podcast goal. Like I almost
I
hit
was yeah, as of last week, I was still at 8. This week I did number 9 and I record next week. I think it is number 10
oh my
on this is my
goodness.
goal this year, y'all, and I don't remember if I told you this in the podcast, was to be on 12 other podcasts this year. At least 12. That was my goal. And by February, I had gotten on to 7. By March, it was 8. And then this month, it'll be 10. And so by May, more than likely, I will have hit my 12. And I don't know if we counted, but
Yay!
I started a second podcast. So does that count as like a one as well?
Look at you.
Yeah, like I've just really I don't think it's even like finding my stride. I think it's just really that you and I really talked. When was that? It was last year sometime. Remember, you were really getting into human design more. And then
Yes.
I mentioned that I didn't know my human design because it wasn't a thing I'd ever really studied. And
It
so
was
you
in
were
the
like, hey,
fall.
yeah, I think so. And you were like, hey, give me your information. I'll run your chart and I'll, tell you what it is. And when you ran my chart, you literally, I still have the text messages like in all caps. You were like, oh my God, you're a reflector. This is like so cool. You're a fucking unicorn. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because like I never heard of any of this stuff, right? Because I
Yep.
hadn't really ever done that. And you were like, hang on. And you sent me like literally like 6 videos on like what exactly it was and why it was so great and like all this stuff. And you were just like, oh my God, like you totally just need to like really lean into this because it's so cool. And honestly though, that totally helped because I started looking into that compared to like my natal chart and looking back and forth at them and starting to really do that. And then I started looking for like I was like, okay, I want to run this business and I want to do it like, in a way that honors like my energy, but like, how do I do that? Because my energy is so sporadic and weird,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, but looking into that, I found some people that do like business, like teaching you how to run a business stuff based on like your human design. And so I started finding out stuff, and I found that that has been so much better than anything else like I have ever done for my business, and it's been
Yes.
great. But I really have like you to thank for that, because I really don't think I ever would have looked into it otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yes. Human design, honestly, it changed my life. And it makes me so happy when I can introduce people to it, because it really is like an energetic blueprint. Like, it's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, here you go. And just so you know, you are still the only reflector that I know. And I have been running so many charts this year, and I'm like, how? I really have not met another reflector, at least nobody that I've ran their chart. So you
Yeah,
really are a unicorn.
I literally back in like January, February, somewhere in there, enrolled into a business course for me helping me with my business, but from like a human design standpoint. And it's called business design by human design. So it's literally like how to design your business based on like your human design.
Sure.
And there is a fuck ton of people enrolled in this course. Like it's not like it's not few. It's not like
Yeah.
there's like 10 people in it. Like there is hundreds of us, and I am legit the only reflector in there. And in fact,
Wow.
this woman who's been doing this type of stuff, the one who's running the course, who's been doing this for like years and years, she said I'm only, I think, like the second reflector that she's ever worked with. Nobody, she's like, I don't even know that many reflectors who have their own businesses. She's like, it's so rare for them to do that. She's like, I know one other reflector business owner, and that's it. And like all the years she's done this.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like the unicorn in the group too. Everyone's always like, oh my God,
They're like,
answer
oh,
this question for me.
a reflector.
Someone was like, I don't know what I like. I have all these open centers. What do I do with them? I'm like, hang on, let me
You're
tell you.
You're like, oh, I know about this.
Yeah, I was like, I got you. Hang on. But no, but it's really helped because she's like super validating in the fact that like, yeah, yeah, you're a reflector and stuff. Like this is your strategy and stuff, but this is like the types of business designs. And by that, she means like, if I'm doing evergreen versus like, one-on-one versus like low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket, kind of stuff. And like
Mhm.
which ones would be better for like your energy type and stuff. And it's great. It's been fantastic. It's helped, and it's really validated the fact that like I don't have to run my business like other people say.
Yes, absolutely. We love that.
Yeah, and I forget, what are you again? Were you a man
I'm a
gen?
manifester.
Manifester, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
So
actually surprisingly don't meet a lot of manifestors. Like,
no, I meet a lot of
very
man gens.
yes. And we
A lot
love
of
that
those.
man, John. I work so well. Manifesting generators and projectors are like my business soulmates, because I have the ideas and then they're just like so
Yeah.
easy to
And
me
they
because it's
have
so
the
effortless.
energy that they can like legit just tap into whenever and do it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
so weird to me as a reflector who literally is like, totally like at the mercy of the moon phases.
Yeah. I sometimes I tell people that I feel like I'm a koala because I need like 22 hours of rest a day. Like
Yeah.
I can't work like them. And that was
No.
really hard for me. That was a really hard thing for me to accept, because I love doing things my way, and doing things very specific. So having to let go of
Mhm.
that and let go of perfectionism, let people help me, was a huge lesson I had to learn in entrepreneurship, because whoa, we were not created to do this alone.
No. No, we're not. And even if you don't have like someone helping in your business
Yeah.
for whatever reason, just having people that get it, that understand it, that you can go and talk to. Like you and I have had so many conversations just together about like what's going on in our business and how we're feeling, and like getting that stuff out, because if people
Yes.
don't run their own business, they just don't understand necessarily what's going on, and that's fine. They're not going to, because they're not in that space, and that's cool. But
Yeah.
like it's so nice like having someone else who is in that space that understands it.
Absolutely. The support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's a lonely journey otherwise, I think sometimes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really being intentional about who we have supporting us too, um,
Mm-hmm.
has been super, super crucial. Um, just in my experience, I know in yours as well. And if anyone's listening to this, we do have a free Sisterhood of Soulpreneurs Facebook group. It's an intentional networking group. We offer emotional support, entrepreneurial support. We are a community of incredible women just here to grow together and offer the energetic side of things where you don't necessarily always get
Mm-hmm.
in typical entrepreneurship communities.
Yes. Yes, Madison and our friend Sarai run that as co-host, and it's amazing. We do like speed networking events
Yeah.
monthly, right? It's monthly, every other week, something like that, monthly. And then the other day we had like some kind of like a workshop where we were all like spitballing and working together to work on like our little like elevator pitches, right? Like when someone says, "What do you do?" Like your one sentence, this is who I am and what I do, kind of a thing. And helping each other like get those all worked out and figure out like what we can say without um, feeling, I don't know, like shame around it, or just being like, is this really like understanding, help people understand what I do quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's a group that, like she was talking about, we in the group, we do exchanges in there and stuff and help each other out with so many different things.
It
And
is
it's so
it's
cool.
incredible. We have some amazing, amazing souls in there. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
that is in there is in the spiritual community, which is
Yes.
was what we wanted. There's an understanding of the realm that we're operating in the healing and the magic.
Yes. Yes, which helps because I've been in other, and well, Madison and I, speaking of which, were in a group together that was for female entrepreneurs. And while it was nice having other female entrepreneurs to discuss with, not all of them were in the spiritual space like we were. And so and the person who ran that group was also not in the spiritual space. And so when we would have questions about things like running our business with like our energy levels, or how to attract clients without having to do like all of the crazy stuff that they were saying, like they didn't get it, they didn't understand it, and a lot of like the marketing advice and stuff just wasn't set up for people who were in the realm that we're in, and so it didn't ring true, and it wasn't stuff we were able to like stick to doing because it just didn't resonate with us or the
Absolutely.
people we were reaching for, right? And
Yeah.
so we stayed in there for a little while trying to like make our square selves fit into their round holes, but it didn't work out, so we left. And then we started our own stuff.
Yes, sometimes you just gotta recognize, and I met so many incredible people in there. Like I
Oh yeah.
absolutely like met the people I needed to meet, and I'm so grateful like for that group. And then it was time to move on. And that's kind of
Yeah.
like it happened around the time I pivoted as well. So it was kind of like
Mhm.
that served me in my first business and what I really needed to know when I was in that. And now I need different support at the level that I'm at. So it's been an
Yeah.
amazing experience and just getting to know everyone. Our next networking event, we actually have a spiritual networking event coming up.
Mhm.
Um, it will be, and we're gonna start doing them every other week. So we'll have a spiritual networking event and then a speed networking event. So yeah, just two different offers. And that is actually April 13th. So I don't actually know when this is gonna air, but if you're hearing this, we will still be doing them. So so keep
Yes,
an
we
eye out for the
definitely.
sisterhood.
Yes, we love that group. Highly recommend going there. It's amazing. Sarai is awesome as well. She's a witchy business coach for women, when she kind of really helps you like align what you really want to do with
Mhm.
like who you are inside and not feel shame around it and everything. And she's really good at like pulling things out of you that you didn't realize were like causing hangups in your business. So
Yes.
she's another good one to, meet. And if you run a business, a spiritual business, to, chat with and, work on all of that. So
Yes.
yay. So yeah, that's the one thing that I really liked. I did appreciate the help that we got in that membership that we were in together, and it did move things forward. And I think it definitely opened the doors for so many like people in my life now that wouldn't be there otherwise.
Definitely.
But yeah, it was there for a season, and we fulfilled our season and our, soul contract with that. And so we left, and we've, found this place, which for this season is what we need now.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about life, is like everything is literally in your life for a season, and so it's okay to like move on from things. And that's kind of like, like you said with your business, it was started off this way, but you were only really meant to do that for like probably a season, and that season has passed, and now you're in this season. And
And it's
yeah.
cool because I still see pretty much whenever I get online, I will at least see one person like wearing a shirt that they bought from me, or wearing, I still see it on my timeline a lot. And it's so cool because it's like, wow,
Hmm.
that impact is still there, even though I'm not doing that anymore. Like the message and the energy is still behind it. So yeah, super grateful for
Yeah.
everything that has transpired.
Yeah. My jewelry business that I initially started taught me a lot about entrepreneurship that I don't think I would have learned otherwise. And I didn't even know I
Sure.
needed to know until like you start a business, you know what I mean? So while that wasn't the thing I was like meant to do forever, and honestly, like, thank goodness, I was a horrible jewelry salesperson. So I probably never should have started that to begin with, but it seemed, I don't know. I don't know why. I just did it. So I did, but it was there for a season. And then when I moved into like the herbal side of things, like that definitely was like, okay, this is more my thing. But even then, I still had to, progress my way through there to do what I'm doing now, and what I really found like I've really found my thing, and I love it. And it's been much more since I've done it. I've gotten much more like confident, and this is what I'm definitely supposed to do. And as such, like it's attracting like people into my life and stuff that are helping me move forward in this realm as well. So
Yes.
it's awesome.
I love that. We definitely start to attract the exact people we need when we get into this energy and this knowing that like this is what I'm supposed to do, and the people that are going to be in my life and that need to be in my life are just going to present themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps to, bring people into your circle that can help with that. And that's what that group
Absolutely.
is all
Yeah.
about, because it gives you like those people that get it and understand, and,
Yes. Yes.
are in
Yes.
the
Yes.
same space. Because that's the other thing about a lot of networking groups that I've joined, and I'm sure the same has happened to you, but like you join them and it's for specifically like female entrepreneurs or whatever. And so many in there are like sometimes rude and nasty to you when you mention that you're like, in my case, a medical astrologist, or you're a Reiki practitioner. And they're like, oh my God, you guys are just like scam artists, and like no one wants to like talk to
Yeah.
you or
People don't
anything.
understand.
Yeah. And
And
it's like, oh, okay.
yeah. And that was something I used to, when I first got into Reiki, I was kind of like scared to tell people. Like I was kind of scared to, because I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, she's doing dark
Hmm.
magic or something." People have all their assumptions, and I had to get
Yeah.
over that because I come from, I mean, the community and the people that I have been surrounded with, growing up, very Christian, very, I don't live the same lifestyle as them. And that was something I really had to come to terms with, was like, no, I know that this
Hmm.
helps people and I know I need to be doing it. So I just need to say it. I just need to get it out there and like make it known that I do this. And the people that don't agree with it, the people that don't like it, I don't need them. I don't need them in my life. I had
Yeah.
to accept that I was going to lose people if I stepped into this. And I did lose people, and I am losing people still. Like, it's,
Hmm.
but the people that have come into my life, I absolutely, I would not want to replace them. It
Yeah.
was making room for my soul tribe and my chosen family. So
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. If when you don't step into that and honor what your soul wants to do by being, like you said, loud and proud about it in a way, you really do a disservice to you and everyone around you, because like you're not honoring that. And
yeah,
so you're just really not being authentic, and people deserve an authentic interaction with you. And you deserve to
absolutely.
be allowed to be authentically you to everyone around you. And if they like it, great. And if they don't, then they can go on somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
they don't have, no one's required to be in your life if they don't want to be. But I'm with you. I came from a very similar background. We've talked about that before with my family of origin being very, conservative and very, very religious, almost to the point of being cult like. And so it really was something that's taken me a long time. Really, only like the last 2 years have I really like come out and actually said like out loud to people that I'm a medical astrologist. Like I've been doing it for years in the background behind all
Yeah.
my stuff that I do with my clients, right? But I never, like, I was always just like, oh, I'm a herbalist, which I am, don't get me wrong, but like I was never honoring that other side of me. And I found that since I changed that, and I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm a medical astrologist, this is what I do. Like it's really changed not only who I've attracted in my life for like clients, but
Mm,
also just like people that come in who want to like know more about it and are like, how do we work together? And I know, you know what I mean? Like it's just really
yeah.
changed all the interactions in my life for the better. So I will take it.
Hmm. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, we do. It's hard sometimes though, especially maybe as women, because we're not always taught to be like that assertive, depending on how you were raised. And
Yeah.
so it's hard for us to like be assertive like that and just be confident in who we are and that
Yeah, and
it's
some people
okay
really
to
don't
be
like
that way.
that, the confidence in general. They're like,
No.
"Ah, you're cocky. Oh, you're stuck up." I'm like, "No, I like myself."
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. No,
I
I'm just
genuinely like
confident in what I
myself.
do and who I am. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's okay. And you're right, you do lose people because like my family thinks I'm some kind of like, like voodoo practitioner, and
Mhm.
they are not, they're not really okay with what I do, and that's okay. They don't have to be, but like,
Right.
it's hard sometimes, you're right, because like people don't understand and then they just like leave, and they're not willing to like learn or get to,
Yeah,
really listen to what it is that you like really do and try to understand it.
exactly. Exactly. People get very stuck in their own beliefs.
Hmm. And that makes it hard sometimes
Mhm.
to like really fully like we were talking about, like step into and just own what it is that you really do, because of that. And so you get stuck in that, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell anybody, because what if they don't like me? What if they leave? What if and all
Mhm.
those what ifs just hold you back from like really being who you're supposed to be. And
Absolutely.
they stop you from having the very happy life that you're supposed to be living, because you're letting other people and
Yes!
their opinions live rent free in your head.
Rent free. I'm like, none of these pay my bills, so I am good,
No.
man.
I mean, if they want to come pay my bills, I am not going to stop them. Let me say
Right.
this. But in the meantime, I need to stop, letting them move in to my head and disrespect in my head only, maybe not even in real life. They might
Sure.
not have even actually said anything out loud,
Yeah,
but let them in their potential beliefs, interfere with what I want to do in my life. So that's a lesson I guess we all need to learn, is how to not take the opinions of others on and like embody what we're supposed to do, and
yes,
fuck what anyone else says, right?
that's right.
Yeah, that's a lesson to learn for sure. And I find that Maybe just because of the environment I was raised in, that's been a little difficult for me to do.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, for sure. It is a very valuable one, but not an easy one to learn.
No, not at all. So with your Reiki, what exactly, I know you said perspective shifting and stuff like that, but what exactly does that mean, and like how does it work for like what you do? So if anybody's interested, they get a better idea if you're like a match for what they want.
Yes. So with perspective shifting sessions, we go in with, if you are struggling maybe with a life decision, a circumstance that has happened, and you're just feeling stuck, like you're kind of in a loop in the situation and you need to be able to see it differently, most likely there is energy stuck in your body somewhere that is kind of holding you in that place. So with a perspective shifting session, what we'll do, we will go in with the intention that we are removing any block. We are creating the shift that you need to better see this situation, to better handle it. And the Reiki does then exactly what it needs to do. We're very intentional. So that is that's the perspective shifting service that I offer. And you tend to move things for a couple days afterwards. And so you'll notice there's different symptoms that you'll kind of feel. There's different memories that may come up. Some people like will burp a lot after. Like there's just different ways that we move the energy, and that will be clearing out of you for a couple days after that. And then the self-love sessions are really infusing. I like to tell people to picture like infusing every little bit of your body with like love energy. And
Mm-hmm.
and what it does is you will feel just so full of this love, life force energy that, again, it's Reiki energy. So it's going into every part of you that needs it in that moment because
Mm-hmm.
it knows. And you will come out with that feeling, with knowing that feeling of what you deserve and how you want to feel. That is what the self-love sessions are for. And those, again, all of it is moving energy. Sometimes I call myself an energetic chiropractor. So if you can picture like, one part of you is out of alignment, and I just kind of take
Mm-hmm.
the energy and like align your chakras back. We're adjusting, we're moving the stagnant energy and allowing it to just flow through your body, because when our bodies can flow, that's when the magic happens. When stuff is not getting stuck.
Yeah, that is so true. That's even part of like what I do with the medical astrology, is really seeing where like the energies are stuck in the body and
Yes.
then helping them determine how to clear those out, whether that's like, hey, go get a Reiki session, or it's go get some chakra realigning,
Yeah.
sessions through whatever, or acupuncture. That's literally what it does, is it realigns the energies along the meridians of the body. And so yeah, it's perfect. And
Yes.
that is a great reason to get Reiki, is if you're feeling stuck in something for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
And in any, like, the wonderful and incredible thing about Reiki is there's so many benefits. Besides the intentions that we set in these sessions, it promotes physical healing. It helps ease
Mm-hmm.
like muscle pains. It promotes deep relaxation. You'll sleep better. There are so many other benefits that I don't even talk about. Like, I don't even cover in my initial spiel of what Reiki is, because it's just like added bonuses. It is an incredible healing modality, and it completely changed my life. I had my first Reiki session in April of last year, and by November I got my certification, because I was like, I need this. Like, I need to be able to share this with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's where I find so many of us in the spiritual, like entrepreneurship, come from. We've had a session or a life-changing, event where we started using whatever modality it is that we're currently like, giving out to other people. And realized how life-changing it was, and now we just can't help but like want to give it out to other people.
Yes.
And I think that makes you more passionate about it too, because like you know how life-changing it can be, and so you are much more not even well suited, but like passionate and just really able to communicate. I think communicate like the benefits better, right?
Yeah,
Because you've been there, done that, you really understand it. Now, there's nothing wrong with people who just decide they want to go do Reiki as a thing and go
of
take it.
course.
But that totally is a valid way too. But I see so many of us have been the opposite, where we've had a life-changing experience with whatever modality, and now we're doing it as well. I feel like that's the vast majority of those of us in the spiritual entrepreneur world.
Yes, because we know the power behind it. We know, like,
Hmm.
we know, guys, we know.
Yeah.
This can
And
help you.
honestly, you changing to this just really makes sense with like your natal chart, because you are a native Cancer in your
Mhm.
sun for sure. I haven't run the rest of your chart, but just knowing that about you is this is like so perfect for you, because the Cancers are like what we call the mothers of the zodiac, right? They're super nurturing. They really want to go out and help like everybody feel better. They're the ones who, when somebody's sick, will show up with like soup to make them feel better, because they know that like this is what they need. And they're really intuitive as to what other people need in their lives. And then we'll just give it to them. So they're very nurturing, and they want people to feel better on like a really deep level. So you doing Reiki is like perfect for how you're like cosmically designed, because you are literally going out and doing just that. You're mothering everybody back to like health.
Wow, I did not know that that was like what Cancer. That's so funny because a lot of people lately have been telling me like I have a very mothering energy. And I've
Hmm.
never seen myself like that. And I just in the last couple months, I had a card reading when I was in Florida.
Yeah.
Um, and they were like, you need to step into your mother like instincts and your energy. And I was like, no, that's not me. And then I started noticing, and that is so true. It's so
Hmm.
freaking true. So hearing you say that, I'm like, oh, confirmation. Like, and I
Yep.
think it was because I didn't want kids. And so I just associated, I was like, no, I don't want
Yeah.
kids. Like, I don't want that mothering energy,
Hmm.
at least right now. And but no, a lot of people have been telling me that lately. So
Yeah.
confirmation,
And
man.
like you said, mothering energy, we always take it as, oh, I'm mothering children, but
Yeah,
mothering energy isn't necessarily mothering small humans. It's just taking care of others and nurturing them in a way that like they won't do to themselves, even though you
yeah,
know they need to, right? So it's
yeah.
really kind of like, that person who just is the one like in the office who anytime somebody's sick, they come in and they hand them a box of tissues and the chicken soup that they made, and they offer to drive them to the doctors if they need it. And they're just like the person who everyone goes to when they need like advice for things, because
Yeah.
they just like know all this stuff, right? And they just know that if they need a mom, even if it's a male, they just need someone who can listen. Like that's who they go to. And it doesn't
Yeah.
even have to be a person who identifies as like a female. It's just that nurturing type energy just
Yeah.
radiates off of you. I bet people are always randomly like talking to you about like really deep shit and asking for advice without you even like offering it.
Oh my gosh. On the daily.
Hmm.
On the daily.
Yeah.
Like especially when I'm working at the coffee shop. People will come in and I take an order, I do something, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's okay, that's where we're going. Like it will just go into a story about their
Hmm.
divorce or their, something
Yep.
that happened in the past. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's the Cancer energy like exuding off of you. Like I said, I haven't run the rest of your chart, so I don't know how much like Cancer you might have in your chart. You might have more than just the sun placement, but Cancer is ruled by the moon and rules the fourth house on the wheel of the zodiac. And the fourth house is the house of family and nurturing and love and,
Oh,
really just like community in that way. And so people who are native Cancers just tend to be the ones that people just will randomly start spilling their deepest, darkest like secrets and crying on your shoulder. Uh,
Yeah.
because you just give off that energy that you're a safe person to talk to.
Oh, I love that. Although I do have to set boundaries because sometimes I'm like, whoa,
Oh,
I do not
yes.
have the capacity for this right now.
That's the thing that Cancers really have to learn. But see, the opposite sign is Capricorn, which is the sign all about boundaries. So if you lean into your opposite sign and really learn to set those boundaries, you will be
Ah,
okay. So it's
yeah.
okay to be like, hey, I can't do this right now and walk away, because that's the other thing about Cancers is they're super nurturing to everyone else, but they forget to take care of themselves sometimes.
True that.
They forget to put their own oxygen mask on first or fill their cup up first, and they burn out easily. So you have to really
Yeah.
lean into your opposite sign there and learn to put up a wall sometimes. And it's hard because you are so nurturing. You want to help so many people that it's hard for you to turn people away when you know they need your help, right? But
Yes.
it's okay to do that because you can't help anybody if you're in a state of like utter exhaustion, burnout, nervous system, overwhelmed. So,
Uh, the truth. Yeah, I'm definitely
yes.
gonna I'm gonna keep that in mind. Lean into that. Lean into the opposite.
Yeah, that's the thing about the zodiac that I like so much, is that everything's in pairs. And if something is out of balance in the body, the first thing I do is look to the opposite sign, because that gives me all the clues I need as to what they're missing to help them balance it out. Like for me, I'm a Scorpio native and my daughter's a Taurus native, and they're the exact opposite on the wheel. So it's really funny. The universe knew exactly what it was that I needed when they gave me a Taurus for a child. Um, because they are so good at like self-care and making sure that they're okay
Mhm.
and taking care of themselves. And then on top of it, their bodies are really good at like absorbing all of like the fat soluble vitamins and using up the B vitamins appropriately. And Scorpios are not. But the reason they are, Tauruses are, is because they are like the foodies of the zodiac. So they actually eat like, a decent diet. And Scorpios over here are like, no, I really only like these 6 things, and I'm only going to eat these only 6 things, which of course then creates nutrient deficits in your body
Right.
because you're not eating a varied diet. So having a Taurus for a child has been like the best thing the universe ever could have done for me, because it's really forced me out of my comfort zone in so many areas,
Right.
and like really forced me to, you know, cook better meals every night, because she's not my kid that will eat just chicken nuggets and french fries every night, right? She's
Sure.
like, why are we having these again? Why didn't we make them from scratch? Can I just make them from scratch? Can we just like she doesn't just want McDonald's every night. It's really hard to
Yeah.
appease her with just, hey, let's just go get some McDonald's and I don't feel like cooking. And she's like, ew, can we like go get like, steak from Longhorn? And I'm like, what? you know, it took me a while to really like embrace that this is just like something I really needed in my life.
Yeah, how perfect.
It was perfect. The universe knew what it was doing. I thought they were crazy, but the universe never is. She's definitely been a blessing, but she really is my foodie. Out of all of the kids, she's the one who will try anything and everything.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Everyone's like thought I was insane because we would go to like seafood restaurants, because she was born and raised in Savannah, and Savannah has great seafood because we're right on the coast.
Yeah.
And we would go out to like these seafood restaurants, and I would be getting chicken because I don't do seafood. It's not my thing. I don't like it. And she would be over there eating a bucket of raw oysters and a pound of crab legs and the lobster, and she's like 4, and they're looking at me, and I was like, I promise you she'll eat this. And they were like, okay, woman, with this, like I was like some kind of insane person for ordering lobster tails for my 4-year-old, but she would eat them,
Hey, she knows what she
and she
likes.
likes them, like,
Yeah.
and so, hey, why not, right? I mean, she just, I don't know. Everyone's always saying to me, how'd you get her to do that? I did absolutely nothing except for
You're like, that
give
was
birth
not my
in
doing.
May. That was it. That was the only thing I did, was I had a Taurus. I can't tell you anything else. She literally has always been that way. And there's literally nothing I have done to do that. So I have no hope for any of y'all parents listening about how to get your kids to eat lobster at 4. Sorry. Because she's just been that way. And then speaking of like human design, she's a man gen in human design as well.
Okay.
So that really helps because she has like that that like sacral energy sometimes to be able
Yes.
to like, so it's nice having her in the house because things will get done because I can
Totally.
tap
Oh
into
my
that.
gosh.
Things get done, seriously. It's nice. Yeah, that's the good part of knowing your children's charts too. You can, figure out who they are and then, not be so caught up in, oh my God, we're not doing things like everybody else is. My kid's behind in this, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Sometimes we get caught up in that comparisonitis, and you don't have to when you know your kid's charts because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So it's great.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
She's my one that started a little business and has been selling things, and
Oh yeah, I've seen her stuff online. It's so cute.
hmm and that was her idea. She wanted to start doing it, but it's that manifesting generator energy in her. It really is.
The ideas
And
and the ability to make them happen. Like,
yeah,
we love a man, Jen.
right? I can come up with so many ideas, like you don't even know. I have like a whole notebook just full of ideas, but I need like someone else to put them into action.
Yep.
You know, I can't, not saying I can't. I have a harder time executing them than like she would. My husband's a generator though, so that helps
Oh
because
yeah.
I come up with ideas and then I just tell him what it is, and the next thing I know, it's like poof, it's here, and I was like, oh, great, thanks.
Yes.
It's nice. Get yourself a generator if you want things done around the house.
That is the truth, man.
Hmm. If you're upset that your spouse is not completing the projects around the house, you need to run their chart. They just may not be the type of person you need for that. Hire somebody who is, you know?
Right. I feel like when I meet people now, I'm always like, what's your human design? Just to know, because they really do. You interact so different with different energy
Hmm.
types. Like, it's such a useful thing to know. So
It
everyone look
is.
up your human design.
Yeah. And it really helps you not be like so judgmental toward people. Like, well, why are they doing it this way? Well, they're doing it that way because that's how they're cosmically designed. Their cosmic
Oh,
blueprint is legitimately just how they're presenting. And they more than likely, A, don't know they're doing it in the wrong way, according to you, and B, are getting shit done doing it this way. So why should they change? I mean, and
exactly.
you being irritated by it isn't going to change the fact that they're going to continue to do things that way because that's what works best for them and how they're designed. Like,
Mhm.
end of discussion.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that helps. I find that too, it's really useful for like my clients when I'm talking to them or giving them like their medical astrology readings. The number one comment that I hear is, oh my God, this reading was so validating. Like, I feel so validated now in who I am and how I'm acting and how my body is behaving. And this is great. Thank you so much. That's like legit the number one thing I hear from everybody,
Oh my goodness.
which
I
makes me
love
feel
that.
good because
Yeah,
then I feel like
absolutely.
I've helped somebody like, learn to love themselves better.
It's so important.
It is. I saw a quote the other day. I don't know if I forget who I got it from, but maybe it might have been you. I don't know. But it said, you don't get a body you love by hating the body you have. You get a body
Mm,
you love by loving the body you have. And I was like, oh yeah. And that's basically what I do is I teach people to really love their bodies and how they're designed and how they're working the way they are, and that this is just literally how they're cosmically designed. So there's no
yes,
shame in it. There's no reason to be upset by it. And so they just really start learning to love who they are, and it changes their lives.
absolutely. Ooh, I love that so much.
It's one of the, I think, most rewarding things that I get to do with like my reading. And
Understandably.
I'm not sure if people really message you back, because that's the thing. I was trying to get feedback back. Sometimes it's hard, but like I'm sure you hear similar stuff about, like, oh my God, I was feeling this way and now I'm not, thanks to you.
Yes. Yeah. I hearing people's experiences, something I always do is ask people their experience before I tell them what I experienced, just because I
Hmm.
like to hear people's perspective on it. And the feedback that I'm given is so often about like they feel like space was created in their body. This is something I hear from a lot of people, that they're like whatever needed to move is now gone, and there is now room for what needs to come in to be in my body. And it's
Mhm.
one of the coolest things. And they'll say, I didn't know how to get rid of it. I didn't know. They weren't sure. They knew something needed to change. They could feel something needed to change, but they weren't sure what it was. And it is so incredibly rewarding to be able to provide that and to hear it back from people, and just checking in on them like a couple weeks later and hearing, oh yeah, this has changed now, this has changed in such a short amount of time, just by doing something so simple but so powerful.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think is missed so often when people are looking to feel better or change something. They're looking for something complicated or a 10-step process. And the truth is, health is simple. Health is really
Mhm.
simple. Getting to where you want to be with your health is simple. It's not always easy, but it is simple. And looking for the 10-step process or the 7,000 things I now have to take or the all these changes I need to make is usually not even what you need. Typically, you need 1 to maybe 3 max changes in your life, and that
Yeah.
will literally then change everything. 1 could be go get a Reiki session and get rid of that energetic block. And then most people that I meet, they need to drink more water for sure. Most
Oh
everybody needs to
yeah.
drink more water. So drinking more water, I'm telling you, will legit change your life, y'all. And add electrolytes to it because you need those too. And then the third one is just moving in a way that makes their body happy every day. I refuse to use the word exercise with my clients
Yep.
because exercise is like been made into like a dirty word almost. Like you need to, when people hear the word exercise, they hear, I need to run 7 miles and I don't want to do that. I need to go to the gym every day and the gym terrifies me and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do it. I need to, go work out for 4 hours every day. I don't have the time for that.
Yeah.
And that's literally not what your body wants or needs most of the time. If you want to do that, hey, more power to you. You go to the gym for 7 hours and have fun. But most people don't want to do that. And so when they hear exercise, they're like, well, I'm just never going to get healthy then because I don't want to run. I don't want to bike. I don't want to swim. I don't want to be in the gym. And really, you don't need to do any of that. You need to do some joyful movement daily that makes your body happy. If that's working in your garden, go do that. If that's walking down the block and saying hi to all the doggos that you meet, that's great. Go do that. If dancing every day to some music while you're sweeping the house makes you happy, go do that. Hike in nature, take, whatever it is that makes you happy, do that daily. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, just those 3 things right there will literally like change your life. And you didn't do anything crazy.
Absolutely. 100%. I had to reframe I use movement now instead of exercise as well.
Mhm.
And I went from following like very calculated lifting programs and gym workouts to exclusively for the last 3 months I have only done yoga because that's what I feel like doing. And I have never felt so good in my body. I have never felt as
Mhm.
connected as I am in my body. And I've honestly like movement and all of these things are so seasonal. So I've been
Mhm.
thinking maybe I want to start taking dance classes, or, it doesn't have to be, oh, this is you go and do this workout and you're lifting weights and you're running and you're whatever.
Yeah.
And reframing that around it. I don't use exercise anymore as the word, but
Mm-mm.
it will change your life. It's life changing. Our bodies love
Yeah.
move.
Our bodies are made to move. They need to move. When you don't move enough, you start having pains in places and you start feeling bad and food doesn't digest as well. And then you start not getting all the nutrients you should. So then you get tired from that. So you know what I mean? Like your
Yeah.
bodies literally are designed to move. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to go and lift 300 pounds at the gym, 4 hours a day, 7 days a week to do that. If that's your thing and you love it and that makes you happy and that's your body's joyful movement, then go do that. But if you're the kind of person who hears the word exercise, you want to run screaming into the night, then, go do whatever makes you happy. We literally take a walk
Absolutely.
every night after dinner. We go for, I don't know, anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour. There's usually outdoors because that's, our space that we
Yeah.
usually have. And that's made us all happy and we love it.
I
So
love
we just do
that.
that. And we go as a family, which is even nicer, because
Yes,
then you get to spend time with your family as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. So we should probably go because it's been like well past the 45 minutes that I usually set for these. But as usual, we could just talk and talk forever. So
Right?
this happens every time we get on a phone call, y'all. Literally every time. We're like, oh, we're only going to chat for 30 minutes. And like 3 hours later, Madison and I are like, oh, crap, I have like things to go do. So you got a small taste of it tonight. All right. Well, thank you, Madison, for coming. I am so excited that you were here today, and I'm so grateful. How can people find you if they want to schedule a session with you?
Yes. So my website is shinewithmaddie.com. It's madi.com, and I can send you the link as well. And my Instagram is at Maddie Soul 777. So MADISOL 777.
Woohoo! Thank you so much, and I
Thank
appreciate you being
you.
here.
This was an
All
honor.
right. Yes. I am so glad. Thank you all for listening today. Please go check out Madison at all of her places and get a session because I'm telling you, it's worth it. It will change your life. I have had one myself, so I speak from experience. So go meet her, hang out with her if you're available for doing that, and get a session. I will talk to you all later. Love and light. That's it for another great episode of The Herbal Ire. Tune in next week for more valuable content with your host, Ire Atla.